Amani and Gabe were allowed to watch from the warm-up tent, which smelled of hay and bird shit. There were photographers, wealthy tourists in suits, necks slung with camera equipment. Servers with trays walked through a sea of conversation. Amani accepted a glass of something nearly transparent. It smelled grassy and felt light in her mouth. She would have given her last dollar for an ice cube. Somewhere on the risers under the sun, amid a sea of white dishdashes and kefiyas, sat the king. "Don't they believe in water?" her father asked. "They?" Hafez looked bemused. Someone edged in front of Amani and took a picture of her uncle. She shuffled backward. "All day and all night in those airplanes. It's like crossing the Sahara," Gabe said. "I'm well aware." Hafez lowered his nose to his glass. "This vintage is from the Palace Sommelier." He looked up in the direction of the royal entourage. It was the third time Amani noticed him doing this. She took another swallow. It was warm. "If there's time later, I'll introduce you." He smoothed back his shock of white hair and nodded toward the king. On the competition field, a man in jeans, t-shirt, and creased red keffiyeh jogged backward across the swept ground, swinging bait on a long tether. "Okay, what's that thing?" Amani pointed. "Fill me in here." "Feathers," her father said. "Feathered incentive." The falcon flashed past the bait, flew in a narrow ellipses, returned for another attempt. The man lowered the bait and swung it along the earth before the bird descended. "It's duckwing," the man beside her said. "And that field is now falcon territory." Wind rumbled along the roof of the tent, and everyone lifted a hand against the dust. His brown eyes had a green light to them. The irises shone with flecks. He took something from a boy and offered it to Amani. A little paper cup of tepid water. She thanked him profusely, swallowed it in one gulp, gave a second cup to her father. "You have it," Gabe said. "I can wait." "Dad, just have this, please?" She turned back to see the boy already returning with 2 more tiny cups. "No, no," Hafez shooed the boy. "Don't drink that, ya Allah. He's getting that from the animal hose." Hafez gestured to someone in the crowd. Minutes later, his driver appeared with frosted glass bottles of Evian. "Samir can find anything," he said, handing them to Amani and Gabe. 500 dinar donation to get into the trainer's tent, and they can't give us decent water. Falcon-oriented discussion circulated all around. She heard that Sheikh Majid had bought out first and business classes on Emirates Air to fly his 80 falcons to Jordan on the arms of their trainers, the Abu Dhabi Falconers Club. The birds had needed passports to travel internationally. "Required to protect against smuggling," one of the trainers said. "It's easier for a falcon to get a UAE passport than for me." Behind him, a silk banner rippled, inscribed in Arabic and English. "In commemoration of the 60th birthday of King H of Jordan." She swiped an arm across her forehead. Her eyes felt gritty. Heat waves warped the air, and she couldn't shake the sense that the ground was creeping underfoot. They were at a desert camp in El Mafraq, 68 kilometers north of Amman, on the edge of the Jordan Valley. Ivory-colored swells of dust filled the air, hitting the back of her sinuses. In the distance rose a sparse, shaggy landscape. Everything dried to the same colors. The trees pointed, rows of spindly firs like last survivors. She felt as if she had walked through fiery curtains to get here. Throughout their long trip, her father had sat gray-faced, pale with sweat. She'd thought he was anxious about flying, but he looked much the same today. They'd landed in Amman at 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Then Hafez had appeared at 9 a.m., banging on the front door, calling, "I'm here." He had plans. He'd walked in and clapped his arms around his youngest brother. "And your lovely wife?" he'd asked. "We won't be seeing her?" "It's her busy time," Amani said. "School..."